Hello and welcome, my name is Nate from Video Games Recon, and as per usual we're going to be recapping this week's popular culture and gaming news that I find interesting and think you will too. Please keep in mind this video was recorded either early Friday evening or Saturday morning on UK time, so some important news could be missing and that this video will be posted most likely on a Saturday or Sunday. Anywho, enough jibber jabber, without any further ado, let's do it to it. Okay, so as per usual, let's start off with a little TV and movie news, then get into this month's PlayStation Plus games and go from there. A new TV series based within the X-Men universe will be making its way to the FX channel in early 2017. This series is set to be based around a man that believes he has a mental health issue, but soon realises that it may be more than that. And the protagonist will probably throughout the series take the mantle of his superhero name Legion, which as far as I understand it is the son of Professor X, which might explain the voices in his head. With all that said, this sounds cool and all, and I like the idea of the mental health curveball. I really hope they flesh that idea out a bit, but to be fair, I'm starting to get a bit sick of comic book characters. Don't get me wrong, I think they're cool and often watch this sort of stuff when it comes out, but surely by now we're reaching saturation point. As the saying goes, sometimes you have too much of a good thing. You could also bundle in something like zombies with that mantra, as although I really love zombie stuff, they could both do with a time out. So we can have some time to miss them so as to truly appreciate it. As I should be stoked for these sorts of movies and TV shows, as they're right in my wheelhouse, but honestly these days my hype goes as far as meh. I'll see it when I see it, if I see it. In movie news, well, sort of, maybe? Jake Gyllenhaal is set to star as both the lead actor and producer in a proposed Division film, which I didn't even know was a thing until reading up about it today. The Division universe is an interesting post-apocalyptic concept, and even though the storyline in the game up to this point is a bit wishy-washy, I'm open to the idea of a Division film as well as Jake Gyllenhaal as the lead. That is, if this film even materialises, as apparently they haven't even got a writer yet, so I wouldn't hold your hopes out for this movie anytime soon if I were you. Okay, so this month's PlayStation Plus games are as follows. On Vita we have God of War Chains of Olympus and Little Deviants, on PS3 we have Echo Chrome and Siren Blood Curse, and finally on PS4 we have NBA 2K16 and Gone Home. I've got a feeling this month's going to be a bit of a hit and miss Marmite month, where if you're into sports and basketball games you're going to be stoked, and if you're not, you're probably going to be disappointed. Me personally, I haven't been into a basketball game since NBA Jam, so I'm probably not the demographic they're targeting here, but I've heard good things about both Gone Home and NBA 2K16, so maybe I'll give them both a go. What about you? Does this month's PS Plus games float your boat? Okay, so we have a couple of pieces again hinting towards stuff that will probably be shown at E3. Speaking of E3, as an FYI, there won't be a news recap video next week or probably the week after, as any video posted on the Friday or Saturday leading up to E3 would be redundant with so much new news coming Sunday through Tuesday, and likewise the week after, as I expect nothing but tumbleweed in terms of news. So instead I will probably be doing some top 10 E3 news content or some discussion videos based around E3, so watch this space. Anywho, leading on to E3 on June 9th, Bungie is doing a live stream announcing their new expansion, most likely the leaked Rise of Iron DLC. This sounds like a smart idea to me, as it gives them 3 days of space, whereas they're probably the biggest news before E3, and then they can always show more stuff to the press at the conference later on, as opposed to being drowned out by all the other players. Keeping with the E3 theme for the moment, Watch Dogs 2 has I think officially been confirmed, after Ubisoft's bungle of sending out promotional materials to well-known YouTuber Rad Brad before the game had officially been announced. But that still doesn't answer the question, will this game suck ass? Or will they have learnt from the lessons of the first game? Who knows? I'd like to think the latter, but either way, definitely not one to board the hype train with. Instead, probably best to wait for some reviews on this one. more supposed Red Dead 2 leaks, as now there is, again supposedly and should be taken with a pinch of salt, but there is a new screenshot from the game that isn't Red Dead 1. This picture came from a former employee who, according to his LinkedIn profile, worked at Rockstar San Diego, so has most likely done work on the franchise previously. Anywho, the picture was posted on his website and is confirmed as not being from the previous game, due to there being chromatic aberration, whatever the hell that is, which is found in the updated Rage engine that was used on the next gen versions of GTA 5. With all that said, I'm not entirely convinced by this picture. It looks a little sketchy to me, particularly as the character in the shot lacks detail and, well, looks a bit shit. This could be due to it being placeholder art or an in-editor shot as opposed to the game running normally, or perhaps it could be that this is a remaster as opposed to Red Dead 2, hence why it doesn't look quite on par with other modern AAA games. Or it could just be a bad shot, or even made up in Unreal 4 and bullshit. Personally, I hope it's not, and like the rumours, I hope we get an announcement at E3 of a remaster or Red Dead Redemption 2. In graphics card news, AMD and the Red team come back fighting after getting a good trouncing by the Nvidia's 1080 and 1070 announcements. Although pound for pound both cards shall probably still be superior to the RX 480 in terms of power. However, with the $200 or 160ish pounds, probably not including VAT knowing our luck, it offers an incredible price to performance balance and is fully VR ready on a budget. In terms of power, I've heard rumours of it being in the same ballpark as a 1070, and other rumours stating that it will be somewhere between a 970 and 980. Either way, as someone who recently bought a 970, I'm a tad salty, but what can you do, this is kinda the game on PC. Although I don't think anybody quite expected the recent quantum leap in terms of price to performance with this cycle of cards. Anywho, if this card can get anywhere near the GTX 1070, it will pretty much make that card irrelevant unless you really want an Nvidia card on a budget. This new card from AMD got me thinking about a crazy idea I'm just going to pull out my ass. If the Xbox Scorpio rumours are anything to go on, the graphics card in said machine is supposed to have somewhere in the ballpark of 5 to 6 teraflops of performance, and the RX 480 is supposed to have roughly 5.5 teraflops of performance, which for those of you who are really bad at maths is smack bang in the middle of 5 and 6. So what if an iteration of this card is going to be making its way into the new Xbox, as it will be a great way to have solid performance while simultaneously keeping the price down. It appears Vivendi may be one step closer to a takeover of Ubisoft, with it already owning 18% shares of Ubisoft compared to the Guillemot brothers and CEO Yves Guillemot's 15%. It has also snapped up a subsidiary of the brothers in their mobile game company, Gameloft, which many believe is one step closer to a hostile takeover of Ubisoft. The original developer / publisher buy back the rights to the Payday series, as due to some business mergers they ended up losing control of said rights to 505 Games, and thus although the original devs promising that there would never be microtransactions in Payday 2 were seemingly forced to implement them by their new partners. However, now that they are solely in control of the rights again, not only are they going to do away with the microtransactions altogether in Payday 2, but they have also hinted towards them not being present in a possible upcoming Payday 3. Those Mad Cats over at, well, Mad Cats have made an $11.6 million loss in the 2016 fiscal year, helped in no short part by their partnership to make peripherals for the Rock Band 4 game, on top of which they're said to still have $8.3 million of inventory to shift. Again, this is another one of those things that surprises me how they thought this was a bet to go all in on. People had their fun with their rock bands and guitar heroes back in the day, but like I said earlier, you really need to leave enough time for people to miss you, as I don't know if the mass market is really crying out for these games. Plus, with music licensing being an issue and those games meeting lukewarm critical reception, probably not one to bet your life savings on. And finally, my theory I had a couple of weeks ago based on the comments of the Nintendo CEO saying that the NX will be a new way of playing games, leaving me to suppose what if the meaning behind this was hinting towards some sort of VR support, actually may seem to have some credence, as there is a new report that Nintendo has altered its manufacturing schedule for the NX and has lowered its targeting manufacturing inventory from 20 million to 10 million so as to keep its March 27 release date, and all supposedly so as it will have the ability to support VR. To what level this support will be, whether it will be something more like Gear VR or whether it will be a genuine rival to HTC, Oculus and PlayStation VR, who knows. But it could make a lot of sense for them to support VR if the rumours of a handheld element is true, as it would give Nintendo the advantage of mobile compute power that none of its competitors have at the moment aside from Gear VR, meaning the Nintendo NX could have an untethered VR experience. And in other Nintendo news, they have decided to show more than just Zelda at this year's E3. Don't get your hopes up though, there will be no Nintendo NX news and presumably no talk of games for that platform. However, there will be some showcasing of games such as Pokemon Sun and Moon, Monster Hunter Generations, Dragon Quest VII, Tokyo Mirage, and a Q&A special with the developers of Pokemon Go. So not great, but not all doom and gloom for Nintendo fans. So, that was my recap of the week's gaming news or points of interest. I'm sure there's a bunch of stuff I'll miss each week, so feel free to post anything you're into that I missed in the comments section for discussion. Anywho, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, share and subscribe for more BS of a similar nature. Thank you and goodbye.